Get in here. I got a question for y'all before we kick off this episode about dating rich men, okay? But listen, this just popped up while I was getting my hair together. I got a haircut fresh for y'all this morning. Listen, it says, would you rather marry a man who makes $45,000 a year and is faithful, but you're unable to live a luxurious lifestyle with him, right? Or B, would you rather marry a man who makes $450,000 a year, so that's 10 times that amount, has very little time for you, and is occasionally unfaithful? We're gonna talk about dating rich men. And I don't wanna give the idea that I got to believe that rich men are unfaithful and men who are not rich are gonna be faithful. Listen, a broke man can cheat on you and a rich man can be faithful too. This has nothing to do with that. But I have been seeing a lot going around the internet about dating rich men and about, specifically targeting who you date based on his income and his generosity, how much he's willing to spend on you. And we're gonna talk about it, honey. I'm not giving no judgment on either side. I'm just gonna share my perspective and my experience with this, okay? So if you don't know who I am Malcolm M.J. Harris, and I help you live your best life, and I help you to get the out of your own way so that you can start living the way you want to live, because often we are our only barrier towards living the way we actually want to live. And I think that sometimes our mindsets when it comes to dating can either attract or, for that matter, repel what it is that we're actually looking for. And I will tell you, within my own experience, I have two distinct experiences of really being in relationships with men who, what I will say, were very rich. One of them, I say he had more money than God himself, okay? And within both experiences, they were very different experiences, but they did shape my opinion on dating rich men. So let me just share my background, okay? I don't come from money at all. When I was growing up, my mother was a clinical social worker, which means that she practiced therapy as well as did social work as well. My mother worked in the prisons. She worked for the military. She worked for the school system. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. We weren't broke, but we certainly didn't have a lot, My father owned a small performance business where they went out to different places to do diversity and inclusion training, but they did it with like African drum and dance, very creative. My father's a performer. I say I get that from both my parents, my ability to be in front of people. I get that from both of them. Also, my mother later in life became a pastor, but again, it was a very small church. We didn't have a lot of money. And so for me, my desire when I got older was to be able to have money. I wanted to experience a life of financial stability. I wanted to experience a life where I didn't have to worry about anything. When you grow up living in a household where you are basically middle class, and if your parents miss one or two checks, or somebody loses their job, or a vendor don't pay a bill, things can get scary. It can build a mindset of how can I build a life within my adulthood of financial stability? And I think that for a lot of women and men who are looking for partners who've got money, it's not just about I want somebody who can buy me a Gucci bag. It's that they've experienced financial trauma in some way, shape, or form early on in life or, in recent years, and they're looking for a partner who at the very least will not pull them backwards, or a partner who can help push them forward, because what they don't want is a partner who's going to be a financial burden for them. So, for me, when I started dating my first partner who had a lot of money, I was at a point in my life where I really did not have a lot. I had just gotten out of school. The relationship I was in, throughout college and after college had ended. I was broke. And so when I met him, he had the big house, he had the cars, he had all of that stuff. And that wasn't what attracted me to him, but I will say that was definitely a feather in his hat. It was a point in his favor compared to the broke dudes where all they could do was break me off with a piece of and that was it. I'm like, you can break off and dollars, I can take that, okay? I can deal with this. And then also beyond that, the pillow talk was amazing with him. Because my thing is, all a broke dude could do for me at that point in my life was, you just gonna lay there and tell me how pretty I am. But this bruh over here could lay with me and be like, hey, have you considered doing X, Y, Z? You're really smart. Why don't you, when you go into work tomorrow, why don't you ask for a raise or promotion in this way? Have you ever considered starting a business? He helped change my life and my mindset in a lot of ways. So it wasn't that I was looking for him to buy me things, because in all honesty, I never asked him to buy me anything. I never asked him to buy me anything. That wasn't our dynamic. But what I appreciated about his money was not his actual money. What I appreciated about his money was the mindset that he had that allowed him to get the money. And that mindset could then be shared with me in such a way where I could get my own money, okay? So I was that kind of girl. I wasn't looking for nobody to give me it. I was looking for you to teach me how to get it for myself. That way I would never have to depend on a man for money, okay? So anyway, that was my first dealing with a man with money. Now I'm saying all this, and I know some of y'all are like, yes, that resonates with me. But let's go to the flip side of this, okay? On the flip side of this, he was always always busy. Okay, the only time that I saw him was usually after 9 or 10 p.m. after his full day was done. Because as we know, when you're making that kind of money, when you're running businesses, you're not on a 9 to 5 schedule. You are on a 12 to 12 schedule. You are on a 24/7 schedule. So he would do all his work throughout the day, dealing with his staff. First of all, he get up super early. By the time I was awake by 8 a.m., 7 a.m., he's already been up for hours working on whatever he's been working on. And so then he's at his office all day. We're not texting too much throughout the day because he's focused on what he's focused on. And then beyond that, what ends up happening is in the evenings, he is, busy dealing with what he's got to deal with. Although he's at home, he's on business calls. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing the other. He was super busy, And given we were all young, I was in my 20s, I think he may have been in his 30s at the time, like early to mid 30s. So he was building, and builders, it takes time to build. So long story short, he was always really busy. The only real intimacy I had with him was like right before bed when he like roll over, basically roll over like, come on, give me a little peace. I was his relaxation pill. I was his NyQuil, okay? I put him to bed. But that was my duty, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you take care of me. I'll make sure you good, baby. I'll make sure you good. Make sure you rested and relaxed for tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? But we didn't have I didn't have a lot of time with him. And I really wanted to be close to him, but I'm like, this man is too busy. And I would never ask him to pull away from his work to give time to me. And so at that time, I had to ask myself, is this worth it? Is having a man with money worth it if you can't never spend time with him? If the only way you can get access to him is by getting on his Outlook calendar, if you have more contact with his assistant than you have with him, if you know that at any point in time, rather y'all got a trip to go here or a plan to go there, that could be canceled at any point in time if something comes up. And I know some of y'all are saying, oh yeah, that'd be cool, I'll be fine with it. But let's think about this. What if you are genuinely and sincerely in love with him? Think about the last time you was really in love with somebody and you just love spending time with them. You love talking to them. It's not their money that you're worried about. It's the time that you're worried about. And imagine if you don't have their time. The money and the access to money wears off. Like that mindset and the novelty of that, it's like getting a new puppy or a new car or a new bike. It's nice in the beginning, but after a while, it don't matter that much. And the money didn't matter that much. I got used to it. His lifestyle became so familiar to me. What he could do for me became familiar to me. And it's like, now I want access to him. And I couldn't get that access to him. So eventually, we broke up. We did not break up over that. He was a good guy. He taught me a lot. Nothing negative to say about him. I dated here and there, whatever. I always say I was a serial monogamous in my 20s because if you went on a date with me, honey, we gonna be in a relationship real fast, okay? We're gonna talk about that another time, honey, all right? For me, honey, I want you to wife me up real quick. I'm an expert at that, okay? And not in a good way, okay? Because sometimes you're like, we need to slow it down. But no, for real. So that was my 20s. So eventually later on, I met another guy, and he was not the next relationship, but he was somebody I met later on. And let me put this on my lips, honey, because I feel like I'm getting real dry. And if y'all wonder why my face look a little full right now, it's because I got laser done yesterday, and I'm swollen. That's what it is. So anyway, I know some of y'all like, MJ, what's going on with you? It's laser. But I need to bring y'all this episode. So anyway, years later, I meet this guy. He is an athlete. Okay, he's an athlete. Okay, and I'm not telling you no sports. I'm not telling you no cities. I'm not telling you no leagues. I'm not giving nothing away, honey. I take shit to the grave. I will never tell it, all right? So I meet him, and I will tell you this. I had never dated an athlete before. I had never wanted to date them because I always heard that they were unfaithful. They traveled constantly. Yeah, they got money, but I wasn't that interested in that. And I didn't really have money like that. I had more than I had when I was, at that earlier point in my life. But I'm like, I got enough to pay my rent. I don't need this in my world. But he was so charming. He was so sweet. And I felt for that. I felt for his personality. I felt for the way he looked. I felt for how he treated me. And with him, I experienced a different side and a different benefit of dating men with money, right? So with him, he was a guy where he wasn't necessarily generous with his knowledge, because I can't say that he had a lot of business knowledge to share. His knowledge was, doing what he did in his sport. But he was very generous, and he was certainly a man who loved to take care of me. So if I was talking to him about what I was doing in my business, because at that stage in my business, I was really trying to grow my business. It was a very early stage in my business. And I would talk to him about, hey, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Not even asking for nothing, right? I was like, yeah, he'd be like, how was your day? Well, oh, this happened, that happened. I'm just I got to hold off on paying this bill until next week because I'm waiting on this to come in and I'm waiting on this commission check. So I got to do this, I got to do the other. Y'all know how this being a business owner. It is what it is, right? And so he would be like, oh, for real? You got Zelle? Yeah, I got Zelle. Next thing I know, I look at my account, 5 G's. For real, okay? Actually the first time was 10. Yes, $10,000. I'll get like this, okay? $10,000. And I was like, whoa, as I called him, I was like, what's this about? He's like, well, you told me you were working on this, and this, and you was behind on a couple bills, so why don't you use that to kind of just take care of what you got to take care of with your business, right? And I was kind of thrown off by that. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, does this man want something from me? Because one thing my mother taught me was this. I have a very wonderful relationship with my mother. She's always been very accepting of me. But she said, you got to be careful. And my dad said the same thing. You got to be careful when men start giving you money because you need to know what do they expect in return for that money, right? And so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what is he expecting from this? I mean, obviously, he's the guy who I'm getting to know. So, it's not like he's expecting intimacy because he's already getting that, I'm like, what is he expecting? Does he want to control me? I started having stories in my mind of what happened with Mariah Carey. Y'all hear her stories about Mariah and her ex Tommy Mottola and how, she claimed he controlled her life. My mind just went everywhere. Okay, I'm dramatic. I'm like, oh my God, he giving me money before, he's gonna be controlling every part of my life. Blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. So anyway, I was like, are you sure? He's like, yes, just take it. It's cool. So, okay, I took it. And then over time, what then happened was I noticed that he always was really busy. There goes the B word, busy word again, because he's traveling, doing that. But even when he was out of season, he's still always unavailable, going here, going there. Whenever I would complain or get sad or give him the silent treatment for a week because of the fact that he didn't talk, because I couldn't reach him consistently for the last 2 weeks, okay, then money get dropped. And what I realized was that money was easy for him. That money meant nothing to him. You can drop me 5 G's, 10 G's. Hey, I'm so sorry, baby. Let me buy you this. Let me do this. You can do that kind of stuff just because you got it. It meant nothing. And if anything, that's when I started to feel like I was being bought. My silence was being bought. Basically, the money was like, shut the up and take this money. You happy, right? And for me, at a point in my life where I really didn't have it like that, I did like that. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't like it, but I was like, okay, well, okay, all right, well, let me just deal with this. And it's crazy because when money is what you depend on somebody for, it's a big part of your relationship, that's nice during the good days when he's buying you Gucci gold and trips. But what about the challenging days when he, or she for that matter, because you got some female sugar mamas out there, what happens on the challenging days when you really are mad at them and everything in your spirit is saying you may need to take a break from them or you leave them, but what's stopping you is the fact of the question of, can you afford to leave them? I think money is a horrible reason to be with someone. It's a horrible reason not to be with them also. I don't think it should be a factor. And so for me, when I think about dating men with money, I'm not here to discourage you to do it. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't look at that as a quality. I'm not here to even say to all the people online who telling y'all go after men with money, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying they're wrong. I think people should go for what they want to go for. But I think we need to look at both sides of the coin. And I'm going to share this with you right now, okay? If somebody is smart enough to make the money, he is more than likely smart enough to keep the money. And that's the first thing you got to remember when you're dating somebody with money. You may think that he out here simping because he's buying you bags, he's doing this kind of stuff for you. Oh, honey, I'm going to get this money and blah, 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 blah. Girl, he not stupid, okay? He's doing that. He's doing it with the money. Yes, some men do it genuinely and sincerely, but some of them are doing it to buy you, okay? You don't know. This man may have narcissistic issues. He may have abuse issues and everything like that. So he's love bombing you with money up front because he knows that's what it takes to buy you, because once he buys you, he's got you kept. And once his real self comes out, you already locked in. He already paying for that house. He already paying for that car. He already paying for that lifestyle. He already taking care of that those bills. He already paying for your kids' school and stuff like that. And he gonna have you trapped, so you have to deal with him. And I guarantee you, when you see the real side of him, all that money won't matter. The money will be a prison more than it will be something that elevates your life. So that's the first thing you want to remember when you dating somebody with money, or you looking for somebody with money. If they got it and they want to spend it on you, be slow to how quickly you allow yourself to become dependent on that money, because the fact of the matter is, the quicker you become dependent on it, the quicker he's got power over you. All right. So that's the first thing. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just schooling you on how to handle yourself. All right. The second thing you got to remember is this. OK, for every one of him who's got money, there's about 1,500 of y'all who want it within spitting distance of him. OK, there's nothing unique or special about a woman or man who wants to be with somebody who's got money. All right. Look at the statistics. For someone to be having more than, I don't know what the statistic is, but what is it like? And at least in the US, if you earn more than like $100,000 and some odd $1,000 a year, you're in the top 5% of earners in that country. So what do you think for someone who earns more than $1 million a year, $5 million a year, $10 million a year? You know what I'm saying? That kind of real deal money, right? What percentage of society are they in? They're not even in the top 1%. They're like in the top 0.5%. So when you look at the numbers, there are very few of them available. And for the ones who are out there, they married. Some of them ain't looking at you because maybe they looking at something else. Some of them just ain't in the right mindset to be in a relationship. So for the few of them who's actually available, how many women and men want them and who will do anything to get them? So that's the other thing you have to accept, is that when you are dating someone based on the money there, right? And there's no other connection outside of the fact that they just enjoy spending money on you and you enjoy having the money spent on you. Understand this, you're in a very fragile position in your relationship with them, because literally if enjoyment and is the only thing that's sustaining y'all, right? Then what stops somebody else from coming along and offering the same thing? So again, I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with dating people with money, but what I am saying is you have to build a more solid foundation with them, other than just laying on your back or throwing them some. You see what I'm saying? Because some of y'all out there doing that to get these men with money. You see what I'm saying? You got to have something more than that. You have to have a real bond, because I'm going to say this, the only thing that's going to allow you to compete with that, with those other folks out there, is if somebody is truly in love with you and they feel sincerely loved by you. So if you out here in these streets just basically scheming on how to get a man with money, then let me say this, okay? These men with money, they're not stupid. They are experts at how to manipulate you into believing that they really are falling for you, just so you can crack those legs open and give them what they want consistently and give them power over you so they have consistent access to you. And then once they have that, then them coming across like, oh, I don't really know that you're coming at me just for money. That mindset changes real fast, and you're going to see the real intelligence come out of him. And guess what he's going to do? He's going to have your trap while he's moving on to the next person to add to his arsenal of bed partners. You see what I'm saying? They're not stupid. So to me, you need to have a genuine and sincere connection with this person, so that no matter what happens out there in the world with other people getting his attention throughout the day, because he's in the world, honey, people trying to get his attention all the time. So no matter what happens out there in the world, he has a tie to you that is great and that is strong, and vice versa, okay? Let me go on to another aspect of dating men with money. I talked about this early, the busyness, okay? Me personally, okay, for me, you know, I got my businesses and everything like that. You know, I earn a decent living. You know, I'm not at no Tyler Perry level. I ain't at no Oprah level. You know, there are people out here got way more resources than I got, but I got enough to be able to live comfortable for me. But I also recognize there are plenty of men out here who got way more money than me, like way more money than me. And in a lot of cases, my friends will tell me, oh, you should date, you know, you like this, your life is like this, you should date a man with money. You know, you need to date a ball of this, a da-da-da-da that. You know, I see you with this, I see you with that. Why don't you date those kind of men? And my thing is, it's not that I don't do or don't date those kind of men. I date men who I feel I have chemistry with, a connection with, a real bond with. But the reason why I don't place money as a primary criteria on deciding if I will or won't date a man is this: busyness. To me, The thing that irks me the most and that will drive me away from you so quickly, all right, there's a couple things. Emotional unavailability, all right, I can't date somebody who I can't build an emotional connection with. Infidelity, I will not be with you if you out here in these streets. Okay, of course, any form of abusiveness or anything like that, I'm not tolerating that in my life. But the other factor is busyness. All right, and I'm not talking about just normal day-to-day business. I'm talking about your time is so full that you don't have time for me. Baby, I'm almost 40 years old. I have no desire to be with a man who literally has to struggle to figure out how to schedule me in. I have no desire to be with a man where when I want to spontaneously hit him up on a Thursday or on a Saturday or whatever time, hey baby, it's after work hours, what you doing tonight? Come with me to the store. Oh, what you doing? Let's go to dinner. Oh, don't you want to do da-da-da? He has no room for spontaneity in his life. I have no desire for that. I don't. And I think that's one of the benefits that I've discovered in my life by getting my own money is by having my own money, I now have the ability to not have to sit around and worry about money all the time. That's why I encourage y'all, get your own money, girl. Because when you get your own money, you will find that your taste in men changes dramatically. Because while I would not have really minded dealing with a really busy man back in the day when I ain't had no money, I didn't mind it because I ain't had. And so because I ain't had, I was like, oh, well, he got it and we can still, I tolerated a lot more stuff than I need to tolerate. But now that I got it, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. You ain't got time for me, then I ain't got time for you. And that's the fact I need you all to consider. When you are focused just on money and everything like that, or when that's the primary factor, you got to ask yourself, will it matter to you when he has no time for you? Will it matter for you when over a 2-week period of time, you've literally only seen him twice and your primary mode of communication with him is sporadic text messages? Will it matter to you when you're on vacation and you want to enjoy him, he's sitting up here in his phone literally 24/7 still dealing with what he got to deal with? Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't you ever date no man with money and be shaming him for doing his job, okay? Because the reality is if he got it, he got to keep it. And so if he got to get on that text message while y'all sitting at dinner, then you pull out your phone and do something else while you wait on him to finish his shit. Don't be guilting him about why you got to be on the phone again. Shut the fuck up and eat that steak, okay? But you got to also understand that dating a man with money, a lot of times they are very, very, very busy. They are very busy. And you got to ask yourself, are you okay with that? If you end up being married to him and y'all have kids, are you okay with being the primary caregiver? He can make sure the money is supplied, but he may not be the one to pick the kids up from school, to do this, to do that, to do the other. He may not be the one to wake up in the middle of the night to make sure that baby's taken care of. Why? Because he got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a 13-hour day. He don't have the energy or the bandwidth to be feeding no baby at night. Yo, dude. You see what I'm saying? So are you okay with becoming the de facto nanny, housekeeper, manager of the house while he's out here earning? That may sound cute to you. Well, I would love to do that rather than doing this job. But girl, you may be biting off more than you can chew. You see what I'm saying? That's your job, that cost, and a job that working at that office, that whatever you're doing is a lot less work than what's going to come with managing y'all's mutual life together. So I'm just sharing this with y'all to illuminate. But there's a lot more to the picture about dating men with money than just the money itself. And if you do want to date a man with money, if that's what you want, I'm going to tell you this real fast, okay? You want to find a man with money? Because I know y'all wonder, well, okay, MJ, I do want a man with money. How do I find them? Go to places where men with money is at. If you've heard everything I've just said, and you like, oh, I do want a man with money, go to where they at, right? Stop hanging out with your bald-headed best friends at the happy hour down the street and take your behind off to the Ritz-Carlton by yourself. Take yourself to Afro Tech. I think that's an event, or these tech events and stuff like that. Take yourself to places where men with money are going to circulate. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you holding yourself together. I'm going to be real with you, okay? Make sure you holding yourself together. So it's not just enough to put yourself in those spaces, which is investment, because these spaces ain't cheap spaces. There's a cost to get into a lot of these spaces because they're trying to keep people out who can't afford to be there. You see where I'm going with that? So if you're going to go to these spaces, you got to also come correct, okay? You want a man with money, okay? When was the last time that you took care of that body? What you doing for that skin? What you doing to make sure your girls is up high? I'm going to tell the truth this, okay? I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? And remember this quote: pretty like money and money like pretty. Pretty like money and money like pretty. All right? Some of y'all sitting up here, I'm a queen. I deserve a man with money. I deserve this. Girl, your back bigger than his. Your back bigger than, I'm sorry, my bad, I'm loud as hell. Girl, your back bigger than his. You see what I'm saying? You come on now. It ain't nothing wrong with being a big girl, but I'm saying you better wear it well. You see what I'm saying? You do what you gotta do for you. And the reality is this, you gotta put yourself in his shoes, because a lot of men don't come from money, or a lot of women don't either. You grew up without money your whole life, right? Or most of your life. You finally got it now, okay? Now that you got this money, you getting attention from women and men who look like what you done fantasized about your whole life. Who you think that he gonna give attention to? The one right there who from head to toe is well maintained and takes care of her body, does everything she needs to do for her. Again, that don't mean she's skinny. That means she just takes care of what she got to do for her. Okay? Now the hair's out of place. The body looks good. She is the beautiful trophy that he desires. Because I'm going to tell you this, that's what he wants. He wants to be in love with his trophy, but he wants a trophy. He wants something he can show off, all right, to his other rich friends who got a partner that look just as good as this one, okay? You think he's going to pick her who take care of herself, or this thing over here? One thing she got going for her is the fact that she can lay on her back and fry a piece of chicken. Let's just call a thing, okay? He got to look at you before he got to hear you, okay? Well, I'm more than the way I look, and MJ, you just telling me I need to focus on the way I look? Yes. I'm trying to discourage you from focusing on just going after money. I'm trying to encourage you to get your own money. But if you so dead set on going after a man with money, then let auntie at least show you what you got to do, baby, okay? I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to guide. You see? So with that said, you better make sure yourself is together. Another thing, girl, take your to therapy. Take your to therapy, okay? Because I'm going to tell you this, okay? A man with money, he works his behind off to get it and keep it. And if your trauma and your drama that comes with you is so strong that he don't have peace when he with you, then you're going to be an afterthought real fast, okay? The thing that's most important to people who are successful and who have money is peace. Because they have all kinds of issues and threats and challenges and anxieties that happen all around them every single day. And so when he comes home, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to learn the art of shutting the fuck up. Okay, let me say that, okay? If he's financing it, then you need to be his peace, okay? You need to make sure that I don't care if he late. I don't care if he was busy for the last 2 weeks. You gonna complain to him about that? Girl, I don't care how much he in love with you. The minute that you stop being the peace in his life, you are about to be the past in his life. Okay, so that's another thing. Some of y'all need to go to therapy because some of y'all got your own stuff and you don't know how to shut up. You feel like you gotta speak up on everything. You don't know how to pick your battles. You got your own traumas and stuff like that. He's not here to deal with that. He's looking for peace. Okay? So again, if you're not wired for that kind of thing, you got a problem coming that way. Also, another thing you got to make sure you're ready for is, are you ready for his friends and his family? Because I guarantee you, for every man with money, he got a mama, a sister, a brother, a cousin, a best friend, somebody who's watching his back, who's making sure that people don't turn him into a trick. You see what I'm saying? Are you ready to deal with them? They may not be around at day one, but they will appear. When they appear, baby, let me tell you, you ain't seen nothing till you seen a protective mother, sister, cousin, somebody like that. Baby, they will drive you out if you are somehow or another not a good contributor to his life. And also, they view you as a threat because you're taking money they would have spent on them. Think about, like, for example, the mama. Okay? The mama need to be taken care of. The sister need to be taken care of. Whoever need to be taken care of. And now you around, and he's spending all this money on you, or if he got kids, like grown kids, oh, watch out for them, they the worst ones. He got grown kids and they see he's spending money on you, they thinking that new Gucci bag was their inheritance. That new car, that new apartment he paying for you, that's their inheritance. They like, hold on. And they can be real rough too. So are you in a place to be able to deal with all of that? So my point to you is this: if you want a man with money, you got to put yourself in the spaces where they are, but more important than anything else, you have to deal with yourself internally to deal with all the challenges that may come with that. You have to be emotionally secure to deal with the level of competition and everything like that. At the core, my big belief and my big thing that I preach and teach is get your own money. Because if at the end of the day, all you want is some money, get your own. I don't want to ever have to ask you for nothing. I don't want to ever have to tell you, ask for permission or nothing like that. Get your own money. So that, not to say that you got to be rich. I'm not saying that. But I am saying have your own money. So even if you do choose to be with somebody with money, you're never fully dependent on them because you know that come hell or high water, you good no matter what. If you like this topic, go ahead and comment below and let me know. I got to go to jump to my next thing today. But I love y'all to death. And until our next episode, baby, live your best, be your best, and do your best so you can have the best. I love y'all. I just made that up. That sounds good though. Bye.